Today I'm filming with the GoPro Hero 8. Last week I put up a video testing if the Hero 8 is actually a gimbal killer by comparing it to the Hero 7 on a gimbal. Spoiler alert, while running it is still a lot smoother to film with a gimbal. Now today I want to try some other settings to see if I can actually improve on this, because there are some little tweaks that you can do in the camera, and I also want to hook it up to a gimbal to see if it's even smoother on a gimbal to film with the Hero 8. The GoPro Hero 8 doesn't actually fit a lot of the gimbals that are out there right now. It's a little bit thicker than the 7 and the 6, so with most of the brackets on the gimbals, it just doesn't fit anymore. I'm using the G5, which is not compatible with, so I use a tie wrap to tie it to it. I see that once in a while the gimbal has a little bit difficulty, maybe because of the weight, it's a little bit different. But overall, it seems to keep it pretty steady. So I think this is the best solution to test it right now. There are a couple of options that you can use if you want to use a gimbal with your Hero 8. I'll list them down below in the description. I just wanted to test it on the G5 that I already have before I would purchase another gimbal. Especially if you're just looking to upgrade from your Hero 7. That's a big extra cost that you need to make in order to get your footage just as smooth as a 7 on a gimbal. Okay, on a lot of tests that I've watched myself on YouTube, you see people going out with rigs that have 2, 3, sometimes even 4 cameras on it to see the exact same picture on the different cameras. Now, of course, with the gimbal, you can't do that. I'm not normally going out running with 2 or more cameras on the same gimbal, which is not possible to do anyways on this one. So I'm just gonna have to do it one after the other to see what the differences are. So the picture is not going to be exactly the same, but it'll give you a good idea of the steadiness of the shots. And one thing with the Hero 8 that I tested was that it works very well as a vlogging camera. Even with the Gorilla Pod, it did really well. While running on a gimbal, I would expect it to be fine. Look, maybe better than on the 7 because there's more shakiness to it. The reason I don't really film like this that much is because of the sound. Especially when there's a lot of wind, it's impossible to film like this. Today, there's not a lot of wind. So my guess is the sound is fine and the picture is fine. The question is the sound fine on the Hero 8? Can you still hear me just as well through the microphone as through the microphone on the Hero 8? I'm thinking without the wind, it should probably be fine, but I'm a little bit skeptical about the microphone on any action cam for that matter to work with a lot of wind around. Hi, cows. All right, so we'll do a little sound test as well. Now that we're at it, the Hero 8 has the microphone in the front and not on the top anymore as the Hero 7 does. I think the Hero 7 kind of gave me a problem because of that with the microphone at the top. Most of the time I'm just using the sound from a microphone that I'm carrying right here, recording the sound separately on a recorder. Now I'm thinking the sound on the Hero 8 might be a little better, but I have nothing to base that on other than I wasn't that happy with the microphone at the top of the Hero 7. Now there's not a lot of wind at the moment. I'm in between trees, so I'm thinking the sound should be all right. I don't know what it would be like when there's actually a lot of wind going, but for now I'm expecting it to do pretty well. Okay, now let's see how it does with a little bit of running, a little bit more wind. I can hear the wind going by my ears. So there is wind that is going past the microphones. I'm guessing the microphone at the top is struggling with it on the Hero 7, and on the Hero 8 it might actually be fine. I don't know. The microphone that I'm carrying with the Zoom H1N I think should be all right. Another thing that I want to test is the boost. I actually didn't test the boost last time because I heard that using the boost gives you a warp on the outside of the image when you're running. Still, I want to test that out for myself, so I'm going to turn on the boost right now.
You've been down this road for far too long. He left your love behind, but still you keep on crawling back despite the pain inside. 'Cause all that I want is for you to be happy. Give me a chance to show that you can be. Well, open your eyes and see the way I see. 'Cause all that I want is for you to be happy with me.
Of course, I'm gonna have to wait till I see the footage to know if there is a big difference or not. But we'll test the next thing, which is on GoPro manual. It actually states that if you zoom in a little bit before you use boost, then it has a little bit more room to use to stabilize the footage. So let's try that.
Your tears, they say 1,000 words. I've heard them all before. The ones who love the most, my dear, are the ones left hurting more. He broke you down with no remorse. Now who will heal the bruise? The one you want in your heart, standing right in front of you.
Now, one thing I want to try before I take it off the gimbal is the slow motion. Now, slow motion already makes your image a lot smoother. So filming in HD 200 frames a second on a gimbal, that has to be buttery smooth.
'Cause all that I want is for you to be happy. Give me a chance to show that you can be. Well, open your eyes and see the way I see. 'Cause all that I want is for you to be happy with me.
All right, so adjusted the gear a little bit. I have the Hero 7 on the gimbal now and the Hero 8 on the GorillaPod like I did for the other tests. Now what we're going to try and do first is I'm just going to run the same area as I did just now on the gimbal. We'll test the GoPro Hero 8 on the GorillaPod, filming 4K 25 frames per second, and just with Hypersmooth 2.0 on high.
You can always trust in me. I'll show you a life that he can't see. You'll become who you've always wanted to be. 'Cause all that I want is for you to be happy. Give me a chance to show that you can be. Well, open your eyes and see the way I see. 'Cause all that I want is for you to be happy with me.
So now we're going to film it at 2.7K, 50 frames per second, with the zoom on 1.2 and filming linear. Let's see what that looks like. All right, so I think it might be a little bit more stable. I don't think it's gonna make that much of a difference, but yeah, I'll have to see it. Next, we're gonna film 2.7, 50 frames per second. We'll zoom it in to 1.4 and film linear instead of wide. See if that'll do the trick. Now, from several reviews that I've seen online, they say that using the boost kind of warps the image on the sides. So maybe zooming in will fix that. Maybe everything I've filmed so far looks really bad. I don't know. So just to make sure, I'm gonna run the test without the boost on, but zoomed in and linear. All right, so that was linear 1.4, so zoomed in quite a bit. One thing I haven't tested yet is to use narrow. Narrow view is something that is, yeah, a bit tough to use for me, maybe because of the way that I want my videos to look, especially with the races, that you can see a lot of the surroundings. But might as well test it out now that we're testing it. So we'll do the same thing again. Set it to narrow at 2.7, zoomed in to 1.4. Okay, I feel like I have to hold the camera far away from me now. That was narrow. I think we've gone through all the different settings that we have that we can try to see if the image would actually be more stable, to see if it could still maybe compete a little bit more with the gimbal. I'd be very surprised if the footage would look the same as on the gimbal. I'd be very surprised if the footage with the Hero 8 on the gimbal would look so much smoother than the Hero 7. But that being said, I like to be surprised. So I'll go check out the footage now.
So the verdict for filming with the Hero 8. First of all, I want to start by saying that I haven't done any color correction on this video. So the lighter parts, the darker parts, whatever you see is how it was filmed. And both cameras were set with the same settings and both filming in a flat profile. Looking at the gimbal footage, I think the Hero 8 might actually look a little bit better compared to the Hero 7 on the gimbal. I really did not expect that. It is very slight, but still I think the Hero 8 actually does a better job here. I don't think the boost adds anything to it while it's on the gimbal though. Handheld, it is very hard to tell if there is a difference in stability. It doesn't perform as well as with the gimbal, but seriously, I'm running with it and it actually looks really good. So I know it sounds dismissive when I say it is not as good as on a gimbal, but just look at how it performs. It's amazing how steady it is while I'm running with it. The footage I shot zoomed in and with the boost on, to me, doesn't seem to actually make it any more stable. As a matter of fact, I think I actually prefer the footage shot in 4K with the Hypersmooth set to high. Also, when I started filming in 2.7K, I noticed something happening with the colors. It kept going from light to dark. Now, this could be an issue with the shutter speed, and because I was filming 50 frames per second, the shutter speed was set to automatic. So maybe that's what gave it some problems, but I'm not really sure. Also, the zoomed in footage seemed to have something strange to me, and I figured out what that was after I filmed in narrow. There seems to be something going on with the image. When I go through it frame by frame, you see that every so often there is a frame that is out of focus. Now I'm running and not everything can always be in focus, but when I film in narrow, there are frames that are entirely out of focus, and it just makes the footage not pleasant to look at. Now overall, the Hero 8 does a great job, and like I said in my other video, I can really see the potential for this camera. Now handheld or on a gimbal, I'll probably be setting it to 4K, Hypersmooth set on high. I'll have to play around with the colors a little bit and with the light settings maybe. But I think the Hero 8 is a great camera to film your runs with. And with the new mods that are coming out, it really opens up some more options for your videos.
I hope you enjoyed this video and maybe found some helpful tips in here. If you did, then maybe consider subscribing to the channel down below. Pretty soon I'll have a video coming out with tips for runners who are considering to film their runs. Seeing that I've been doing this for quite some time, I have some pointers for you. So stick around for that one, and of course all my other videos, my races, my training. And until next time, get out there and run.